Hello everyone and welcome to Crafting with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. In today's tutorial, I am answering some of the questions that you had for me regarding my HTVRONT D1 DTF printer. You can hear it in the background. You can also hear my oven is ready. Give me a second. And we're back. In today's tutorial, I am going to share a few tips and tricks with you and help you make decisions about how you can incorporate the HTVRONT D1 DTF printer into your business. I'll give you a little bit of information regarding how I price my time, how I price my shirts, how I price this order that I'm working on. So this order is for 160 shirts, 80 black and 80 white. I'll share just a few tips and tricks that may help you along your journey. If you find it helpful, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Now, without further ado, let's go over to the DTF printer and I will start to answer your questions and share a little bit more about my process. Hello everyone, so I'm on the other side of my craft room and I have my HTVRONT D1 DTF printer. It's connected. I have not used it in about a week or so, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do to get it back up and running. We did have to go out of town. I left it. I leave it powered on. The noise you hear, that's the noise. That's the sound that it makes all day while it's powered on. You're going to hear it stirring. You should hear it stirring. You'll hear it stirring. The oven, okay, the oven is also on. I'm going to I have to print about 10 transfers, so I'm going to just take you through that process, and I'm going to answer some of the questions that I've seen under my unboxing video along the way. So hopefully you do find this helpful. Let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is do a nozzle check. So I'm going into the software. I'm going to turn my body around this way. My laptop is right here. I'll show you my laptop right there. Okay, and I'm going to go into the software. 1 second. I'm in the software. I'm going to click the check and it's going to print the pattern. So let's look at the pattern. Let me pull it out and look at it. So there's nothing on the film. So instead of wasting that film, I'm rolling it back in there. I'm going to do a clean and let's let it go through a cleaning process. So you're going to see the waste ink start to come through and go into this bottle. So it's filling up. I've already poured the waste ink out, so it's empty. We're starting with a fresh bottle. All right, so now that I've done a check, now that I've done a check and a clean, I'm going to do check again. Let's see. Turn the light on, so now we should be able to see. Let's do a check again. I'm going to go ahead and take the film out and check it and see what it looks like. Okay, so what I ended up doing was turning the printer off and then turning it back on. And then I press the check again. And so I'm going to print it out and let you see. I'm going to, feed the film through and let you see. So I don't know if that's a good visual, but so the lines don't look good yet. So what I'm going to do now is press clean. I can just press it from here. I'm going to press clean, but I'm going to feed that film back through because I don't want to waste any film. Press clean and I'm going to do it again. I'll check it again after it goes through the clean. We're going to look, it's looking good. So this was the first one. I don't know if you can see it really good. This is the second one. See that? That looks really good. So now I'm going to do a little test print. I have a little image that I have. So I'm going to just do a little quick test print and check it. Okay, so that took 16 seconds. Did waste film by doing that because I have all of this over here, but it's fine. Okay, so there is that. It looks great, right? If I want to put this on a little something, a little, I could. Okay, so now we know. So before printing a full image, let me come over here. Before printing a full image, do your test print. Do something small. It doesn't have to be all of this. It could be a small butterfly. It could be something really small. Now I'm going to start printing the images that I need to print. I actually need to print 10 transfers. And so I will time it and we'll see how long it takes to print 10 transfers. The size of the transfers that I'm printing is 12.5 by 10.7. So we'll see how long it takes to do that. The image that I'm printing out, I am going to print 10. So I'm clicking right here on multiple print. And right here, I'm doing, for my vertical count, I'm going to choose 10. And I'll click OK. And so it's going to be 10 images that will print. And I do have mine going sideways. They are on vertical mirror. Okay, so I'm going to click print and get it started. Stopwatch. Let's see how long it takes. Okay, I'm actually going to pause it right here because I don't know if you can tell, but it's already printing into the second image. And really what I would have done if I wasn't recording is I would have paused it here and I would have cut this one away so I could have started applying the powder. So yes, you can print multiple images, but for me, it makes sense if you're doing that to, cut one, apply the powder, let it go through the oven. So you can see my oven is right there. It's already ready. The oven is right there. It's already powered on and everything. But ideally, I would have stopped this. So it didn't really take 5 minutes. It actually didn't even take 4 minutes to finish printing this first one. It was like 3 minutes and 50 something seconds. And the size of this image is 12, I think it's 12.5 by 7 or something like that. But I would have to double check. It's 12.5 by 10.7. So that's kind of big. So what I am going to do is stop it before it goes too far on the table. You might need a longer table, and then continue with the printing. But approximately 4 minutes, depending on the size of the transfer. So I have cut the first image away and I am applying the powder. You see I'm wearing gloves now. And I explained this whole concoction that you see with the pans, the roasting pans. I explained that in my unboxing video. So if you didn't get a chance to check it out, go check it out. I apply the powder. I roll it back and forth. I make sure the image is completely covered. I put the image with the powder facing up into the oven. As soon as you close the oven, it starts counting down. And while that's going, I'm allowing my printing to continue. What I'm doing here is I'm going to pause this in between the prints. I'll cut this image away and start applying the powder. And then I'll press pause again to get it back going. So I'm down to the last print for the 10 that I was trying to time. And you can see that my time is right at 36 minutes and a few seconds. The image that is still printing is for another batch, but the 10 that I printed that I wanted to time, it took approximately 36 minutes and 43 seconds to print 10 images that were 12.5 by 10.7. So I think that's really good. As I get started with the next batch of images, these images are going to be going on a 2X shirt. But I think it's important that you add space in between the transfers so that it'll be easier to cut them away. as they're being printed. So this is what you do. Go into the software, go to multiple prints, type in the number you are planning to print. And right there where it says vertical space, you can see I have mine on 30 millimeters. That's what it looks like with zero. Zero is not good. I suggest adding like 30 to 40 millimeters of space in between so you can cut away cleanly and keep going. I'm in the Better Printer software right now. Another question I got was, how do you stop a print job? So you have to stop it from the Better Printer software. So if I was printing those 14 transfers and I didn't like it, I can click right here to stop it, and it'll ask me if I want to cancel, and I can say yes. Now, I'm not going to cancel mine because I really do want to print 14 transfers, okay? So hopefully that helps. Okay, I want you to see what the waste ink looks like when it goes into this container. So this is where it is right now. I'm going to press clean and we'll watch. See the waste ink going in there? So I always say, keep an eye on that, have a container to pour it in once it starts to fill up. All right, let's get into some Q&A, and I'm going to just respond to some of the most popular questions I've gotten about the HTVRONT D1 DTF printer. The first question I get asked a lot, or that I've been asked a lot, is, do I have to print every day? And my answer to that is, I don't. I don't print every day. I honestly don't even print every week. I keep the printer powered on, plugged up, and I don't use it every day. It does have the white ink stirring system, and if I don't use it for a few days, what I typically do is I'll make sure my laptop is on, and then I will do a nozzle check and just look at what the lines look like, and then I'll do a clean. And depending on what it looks like, I'll probably go through that process 2 or 3 times until the image prints, until the lines print the way that I want and there are no broken lines. And then I'll print out a small image before I print out the actual image that I'm planning to put on a shirt. So no, I don't use it every day. I don't clean it every day. I don't do anything with it every day. And like I said, I don't even use it every week. All right, number 2, the second most popular question I get is, should I get the oven? And I think people ask me that because they know how I felt previously about purchasing the ovens with my previous DTF printers. And I just looked at the HTVRONT website, and let me just tell you, yes, you should get the oven. I noticed that on the website, if you use my code Delonda 700, you will save $700 off the purchase of a bundle or a package, no matter which one you get, whether you get the oven or not. But I noticed that they have a bundle that is $28.99, and not only does it include the oven, the film, the ink, it also comes with a heat press. The brand new HTVRONT Auto Heat Press 2 is included in that bundle. So if you don't already have a heat press, that is a fantastic deal. Now, if you do already have a heat press, you could just get the bundle that comes, it's called the oven kit. So you'll get the DTF printer with the ink and the film and the cleaning solution with the oven, and that one is $2,600 with the discount. So I still think that's a really good deal. This oven that comes with the HTVRONT D1 DTF printer, it does heat up really fast. And what I've noticed is that once I place my film in the oven, it really does a good job of melting that powder. And there's a cover on it, so you can, close the top where the opening is at the top, or you leave it open. Do whatever works best for you, is whatever makes you feel the safest. Typically I have, cured my DTF powder in my heat press. I just let it sit there on the heat press, but really the ideal place for it is with the oven. And for the shirts that my son and I just pressed, we did use the oven. So I suggest, yes, getting the oven. So another question I get is, how wide does it print? It does print, it says 13 inches wide because that's the width of the film, But honestly, you could print wider than that if you flip your image or if you rotate your image, because the film, the HTVRONT D1 DTF printer, it comes with a roll of film. And since you're printing on film, you can make it as wide as you need to. So when we were doing the 2X shirts, we actually went beyond the 13-inch width. And so that's just something to take into consideration. So yes, your image can only be 13 inches in width if you're printing it straight on. But if you rotate your image, you can make it wider. What is the maintenance like? Like I said, I don't do it every day. I haven't done any like official cleaning where I've had to use a solution, knock on wood for that. I'm not looking forward to it. So I really don't have a definitive answer on that yet because I haven't had to do that. Like I said, I do the check and then I do the cleaning that it does automatically. And so far that has worked for me. How much to charge? I've gotten that question, not very much, but I'll kind of just tell you what we experienced with this order. Now, I will say this is the biggest order I've ever accepted since I've, been a crafter or been in the crafting game, because I don't typically do one-off orders. With this order, when I was making the determination for how much to charge, I took into consideration if the design was going to only be on the front and the back, because with DTF transfers, there is a two press, is two press maximum, a mandatory. You have to press the image and then let it cool and then press it again. So if the image is only going on the front of the shirt, that's already two presses. Well, if you have to do the image on the front and the back, then you're up to 4 presses. So what I charge is $3 per size. So I charge $3 just to press the image. That's no matter what. And so if I'm pressing the image on the front and back of a shirt, that's automatically a $6 charge. Well, so put that in your calculator, your mental calculator. That's $6 off the front. And then the cost of the shirt. Now, I have a Texas resale certificate, so I don't pay taxes on the t-shirts that I purchase. So the shirts that we recently purchased, the mediums to extra large, those were $2.69. So, $3 for the press and then $2.69 for the actual shirt. And then you have to take into consideration the size of the transfer. So I'm pressing the transfer, and the transfers that I print myself, I can make a determination on how much I want to charge for that transfer. Now, I'm not going to go into details about that, but you can definitely check online to see what's the going rate for transfers, especially if you go through companies and you look at what is their cost based on the size. So for example, a 10 by 10 transfer or a 10.5 by 10.5 transfer, what's the cost? Let's just say the cost, for a 10.5 transfer is $2.50. So you would add that to the cost of your, how much you're charging. And then you can come up with, this is the cost. This is my fee for making a shirt. Now, since that school district was ordering so many shirts, I could make a decision on whether I wanted to, offer them a discount or, just go with this is the price no matter how many you purchase. But that'll be a matter of, your business sense. So for us, all of those things were factored in. The cost of the shirt, the cost of the press, whether it was a 1 press or 2, the size of the transfers, and then our time, because your time should be factored into that also. So hopefully that will help you. We kind of stayed within the $20 range per shirt. So you'll be able to make a decision for yourself and see if some of that information kind of helps you with pricing. I think that was about it in terms of the questions that I see the most. I've seen some people ask about the table. All of the equipment, the furniture that I use is linked below the video. I do have an adjustable table, and I keep the oven and the printer on the same table, and it's held up pretty good. I do also suggest getting a surge protector. Everything else is plugged into the surge protector. Hopefully that did help you. Hopefully you found all of this information helpful. And, you know, if you do have other questions that I did not answer below, please leave your questions and I will do my very best to get back to them. But if you did find this tutorial helpful, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye. One last question that I get asked, or that was asked, is what do I do with the container that the printer came in? I actually use it to store all of my supplies. So my ink is there, any of the additional supplies. I have cords. Anything that is related to that HTVRONT D1 DTF printer is kept in that container, and I keep the container under my table. So hopefully that helps.